Hey everyone, and welcome to DevOps Corner. Today, we're jumping into the one tool you absolutely need to know to manage Kubernetes. If you get value out of this explainer, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. All right, let's get into it. So, just picture this. You've got this powerful, maybe even massive Kubernetes cluster. It's this incredible engine, right? Running all your important applications. But how do you actually talk to it? How do you give it orders and figure out what it's doing? Well, the answer is with one single, all-powerful command line tool, Kubectl. You can think of it as your universal remote control, your mission control, for literally any Kubernetes cluster you ever need to work with. It's that essential. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with why Kubectl is your command central. Then we're going to get our hands dirty and launch our first application. After that, we'll see how to debug it like a pro when things inevitably go wrong. And finally, we'll talk about moving from these simple commands to the way the pros do it with code. Okay, let's just dive right in. Honestly, the best way to learn Kubectl is to use it. So right now, we're going to spin up our very first application on our Minikube cluster. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't a pod the smallest, most fundamental thing in Kubernetes? Shouldn't we start there? And, that is an excellent question. You could technically create a pod by itself, but in the real world, you pretty much never do. We use these higher-level concepts to manage our pods for us. And this is a perfect illustration of that chain of command. It shows you the layers of automation. All we have to do is create a deployment and tell it what we want. The deployment goes and creates a replica set. And then it's the replica set's job to make sure the right number of pods are always up and running. We just manage the one thing at the top, and Kubernetes handles all the details. Pretty cool, right? So let's do it. With just one simple command, we can tell Kubernetes to create that deployment. We're going to give it a name, nginx deployment, and then we tell it which container image to use. In this case, the official nginx image right from Docker Hub. As soon as we run that, we can immediately see what's happening. The kubectl get pod command shows us the status of any pods our deployment is creating. Now, don't be alarmed if the first time you run this, it says something like container creating. That's totally normal. Kubernetes is just busy in the background, pulling down that image and getting everything ready. And after just a few seconds, voila! This is what you'll see. Our pod is up and running. And what's really interesting here is the name. See how it has the deployment name, then a random string, then another random string? That shows you the whole chain, that this pod is managed by a specific replica set, which in turn is managed by our deployment. Okay, making things is great, but Kubectl's true power really, really shines when things break. And trust me, they will break. It's not just a tool for building things. It's an absolutely world-class tool for debugging them. This is it. This is the first question every single person asks. My code is running in this black box, inside a pod, somewhere on a server I can't even see. How do I see its output? How do I see the errors? The answer, and your new best friend, is Kubectl logs. This should always be your first stop. It streams the live output directly from your application inside the container. If your app is crashing or printing an error, this is where you'll see it. Okay, but what about a trickier situation? What if your pod is stuck in a state like crash loop backoff or image pull back off? You might run Kubectl logs and get nothing. Absolute silence, because the app never even got a chance to run. So where do you look now? This is when Kubectl describe pod becomes your secret weapon. This command is different. It doesn't show you what your app is doing. It shows you what Kubernetes is doing. It gives you a detailed event log of everything Kubernetes tried to do to get your pod running. And here is a perfect real-world example of why that's so critical. Let's say you had a typo in your image name. Your logs would be empty. But if you run describe, you'll see this beautiful, crystal clear message in the event section at the bottom. Failed to pull image. Boom. It tells you exactly what went wrong. Problem solved in seconds. And for those times when you just need to get in there and poke around yourself, there's Kubectl exec. This command is amazing. It literally drops you into a command line shell inside your running container. It's like SSHing directly into your pod. You can look at files, check network connections. It's an incredibly powerful debugging tool. So far, we've been using these one-off commands, and they're fantastic for learning and for quick tests. But when you're working in a real production environment, you need a process that's repeatable and that you can track and version control. It's time to go from commands to code. And this slide really breaks down the two philosophies. On the left is the imperative way we've been working. We're telling Kubernetes how to do something, step by step. On the right is a declarative way. This is where we write a config file that describes the end result we want, and we just tell Kubernetes, hey, make the cluster look like this file. This is, without a doubt, the industry standard. And this is what that configuration code looks like. It's just a simple YAML file. Don't let it intimidate you. It's just describing what we want. The kind of thing is a deployment. Here's some metadata, like its name. And here's the spec, the specification, like how many replicas we want and which container image they should run. Now here is the real magic. We use the command kubectl apply and just point it at our file. And apply is smart. If that NGX deployment doesn't exist yet, it'll create it. But if it already exists, Kubernetes will just look at what's different between the file and what's running, and it will only make the necessary changes. It's a create and an update command all in one. And when we're all done with our experiment, cleaning up is a breeze. We just have to delete the top-level thing we created, the deployment. Kubernetes is smart enough to know that the deployment owns a replica set, and the replica set owns the pods, and it will automatically clean up everything for us. All right, I know that was a lot to take in, so let's do a super quick summary of the powerful commands that are now in your Kubectl toolkit. Here it is, your cheat sheet. Use get to just see what's going on. Use apply with a YAML file to build and update your stuff. When a pod is acting up, your 1-2 punch is logs and then describe. If you need to dig deeper, exact right into the container. And when you're done, delete to clean it all up. And that's it. You now have the fundamental command line skills to build, inspect, and debug applications on basically any Kubernetes cluster out there. The foundation has been laid, so the only question left is, now that you have the tools, what will you build? Thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful, please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to DevOps Corner. See you next time.